The throne room of Queen Valira stretched impossibly high, its walls carved from black obsidian and inlaid with streaks of luminescent crystal. The air thrummed with latent energy, and the atmosphere itself seemed to resist intruders. I, Lieutenant Jace Rowan, stood at the center of the grand hall, my human eyes scanning every curve of the alien architecture. I had traveled across sectors, responding to a call from the Galactic Alliance, a lost artifact of immense power. The Sword of Eldora lay within the Queen's domain. Whoever could wield it would command authority unmatched across her realm. Queen Valira approached, her form shimmering with iridescent scales, her eyes sharp as twin stars. She studied me with curiosity and amusement. "You, human," she said, voice echoing with authority and power. "Do you truly believe you can lift the Sword of Eldora? None in my court have succeeded for centuries. Not one of my strongest warriors. Not even the high champions of my people." I kept my posture steady. I believe strength is not always measured by size or species. "Let me try." Valira's laughter was melodic and cold, reverberating through the chamber. The courtiers, creatures of diverse forms, from crystalline trellins to scaled dracari, snickered and whispered among themselves. A human attempting this legendary feat seemed absurd. The sword rested on a pedestal of dark stone, its edge humming faintly with energy, runes etched along its length glowing faintly in response to the room's magic. I stepped closer, feeling the pulse of power emanating from the blade. Unlike any weapon I had encountered, this sword seemed alive, resonating with something beyond technology or conventional energy. It wasn't brute strength alone that would wield it. It required alignment, understanding, and resolve. Valira's expression shifted between amusement and skepticism. "Many have tried," she said. "All failed. Their efforts only awaken the wards. None are worthy." I took a deep breath, placing my hands on the hilt. Instantly, I felt resistance, a force pushing back, testing my resolve. My fingers tensed, and I centered my mind, recalling my training in interstellar combat, survival, and the meditation techniques taught by the Earth Defense Command. Strength alone would not suffice. I had to project intention, focus, and the will to harmonize with the sword. The room watched in tense silence. Valira's wings twitched, her eyes narrowing as if she were trying to detect some flaw in me. The sword vibrated subtly beneath my grip, its runes glowing brighter. Then, almost imperceptibly, the blade shifted, easing its weight ever so slightly. I adjusted, aligning my stance, and pressed my intent into it. A ripple of energy spread through the chamber. Courtiers whispered and gasped, some backing away instinctively. The sword responded, its energy flowing into my arms, not overpowering but merging with my own strength. Step by step, I lifted it from the pedestal. Valira's laughter faltered. Her eyes widened, her body tensing as the impossible occurred. The sword, centuries unclaimed, now rested in the hands of a human. I held it steady, feeling its latent power course through me, yet not corrupting, not overwhelming. It recognized my resolve, my willingness to bear responsibility, and it yielded. The chamber erupted in astonishment. "Impossible," a dracari warrior whispered. "No human." Valira's voice, previously laced with mockery, softened into awe. You have done what none have achieved." "How?" I lowered the sword slightly, mindful of its energy. "It wasn't brute strength," I said. "It requires understanding, focus, and intention. I did not try to dominate it. I chose to align with it." Her pupils contracted, and for the first time, the Queen of Eldora looked uncertain. The courtiers, previously confident in their superiority, watched in stunned silence. A human, not of her species, not of their legendary ranks, had succeeded where their finest had failed. Such harmony, she whispered. I did not think your kind capable of patience and insight. I handed the sword back to the pedestal, careful to maintain respect for its power. Valira approached and studied the blade, tracing a clawed finger along its runes. Then, in a gesture that shocked the assembly, she bowed her head slightly to me, a sign of unprecedented respect. You have shown more than strength, she said. You have shown wisdom, balance, and the courage to try what others feared. For this, you shall not leave this hall as a mere guest. The courtiers murmured in astonishment. Valira had never honored an outsider in such a way. I realized then that my success was not just about lifting a weapon, it was about bridging understanding between species, proving that humans could embody traits they often underestimated. The queen gestured to the sword once more. You may wield it when necessity demands, and you shall be my ally in trials to come. Weeks passed as I trained alongside Valira and her elite guards, learning the intricate balance required to wield the sword effectively. The blade responded not just to physical input, but to emotional and mental alignment, requiring synchronization of mind, heart, and intention. Under her guidance, I honed my understanding, preparing for threats looming across the sector. The first test came sooner than expected. Raiders from the Calther system attacked the Queen's fleets, their ships armed with disruptor beams capable of annihilating entire squadrons. I stood aboard the flagship with Valira, the sword of Eldra sheathed at my side. Remember, she said, her voice steady. Strength alone will not win this battle. Your will, your focus, and your understanding of the sword's power will determine the outcome. As the first wave of Calther ships emerged from the warp, I drew the sword. Energy coursed along its edge, harmonizing with my neural patterns. With a precise gesture, I directed a pulse that disabled the disruptor beams of the attacking ships, turning their own weapons against them in a chain reaction. The fleets of Eldra advanced in coordination, guided by my input and the sword's energy. In minutes, the Calther attackers were neutralized, retreating in confusion. Valira watched, eyes wide, as a human not only wielded the legendary blade, but also directed its immense power with skill and precision. After the battle, Valira approached me again. I was wrong to doubt your kind, she said. You have shown that courage and wisdom can surpass raw power. You are no longer merely a guest or a soldier. You are a partner, an ally, and a bearer of the Eldra legacy. From that day forward, the story of a human lifting the sword of Eldra spread across systems. Scholars, warriors, and diplomats marveled at the feat. It became a symbol of unexpected potential, of humility and understanding overcoming prejudice and tradition. And every time I stepped into the throne room, sword in hand, Valira's eyes held a mix of astonishment and respect, a reminder that sometimes what is underestimated can become the most powerful force of all.